I'm sure you know, but LeBron James is back. We'll talk about that and all of the action from Monday. No, not Monday. No, Tuesday in the NBA. 6 games on. Michael Bolton, you know what day of the week it is.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I'm hard capped at the first apron. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers could bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free, we're available on all platforms, and we're also part of the #1 sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us get there, and thank you for helping me head towards 100k subs on YouTube. I want the play button. Someone said get rid of the shoes and keep the skull. That's an option too. Once we get the play button, one of these is coming down and the play button's going up. So, get us there, 100k. I want to have it. I want to get it soon, hopefully, as Obi's on my lap and tries to get off. All right, we're talking about Tuesday, the return, the season debut of the big fella, LeBron James. We'll get to that game at the end of the day in the appropriate order that these games were played. For now, let's just cover a little bit of news. We'll start just by looking at, there's one main thing I want to cover off here before we do some waiver wire trends, and that is that Keegan Murray is returning. Not Wednesday. They've got a Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back, but Keegan is set to return on Thursday. I am not sure that Keegan will remain a must-roster player. I'm not sure that he will. I think he's fine to have, but part of the problem with Keegan Murray, why his upside is so limited, is he gets no usage on that team. His shooting has decreased every single season. He never touches it, doesn't get assists. He's an okay rebounder, but it's not like super exciting. Again, think you should roster him. And be very cautious when you're looking at rankings, because he doesn't get any turnovers. But maybe you do, I don't care at all. A couple of other injury updates. Jalen Brunson, the burner, has been upgraded to questionable. Domantas Sabonis is out for Wednesday. Don't know that Brunson plays, but it is a good sign that he's been upgraded. And Sabonis, Iron Man, out again. We'll see where that goes, but obviously not a great sign at this point. Let's talk waiver wire trends, who's been added and who's been dropped the most over the last 48 hours. In preparation for our full waiver wire show tomorrow, the most added players. The top 5 names, some of them we'll talk about today. Number 1 is Daniss Jenkins, who is a tough one now because the Pistons now don't play until Saturday. And you've got to make a call on that. We'll talk about that when we get to that Pistons game a little bit later. Luke Cornett, the second one, not good today. Don't care. Holding. Moses Moody, also not good today. Hold, because it's a back-to-back, but we'll talk more about him later on too. Domi Barlow, the 4th most added name. I guess there's value in that because Paulie George is out tomorrow. So is Joel Embiid, or likely out. But I don't think that Barlow retains 10, 12, maybe even 14 team value. And the last one there is Duncan Robinson, who I think that's a little bit of an artifact from streaming in the Monday, Tuesday back-to-back. He's been solid, but we definitely don't hold him through a 3-day gap in games for Detroit. The most dropped players. Number 1, Yegor Dioman. Understandable. He shot the 3-ball really well. We'll talk about him later on as well, but understand you wouldn't hold him. Kelly Oubre, injured, drop, easy. Derek Jones, injured, drop. Trey Jones, injured, even though he's questionable for Wednesday. Absolutely, totally okay to drop him. I don't believe in holding Trey Jones. He's been pretty good, but he hasn't been good enough for me to justify him as a hold with White back. And the last one there as a drop is the depressed penis, Sadiq Bey, who missed the last game. He's questionable for Wednesday. Zion is also questionable. Bey is okay to hold. He's also okay to drop. Nothing completely or really significantly mind-blowing in that grouping of players there. Let's talk about the games. There's only 6 of them on Tuesday, including, of course, 2 absolute snoozes. And by snoozes, I mean for you guys in the East Coast, like way past your bedtime. I don't know why it's going so late, but it is. First game was an early one, though. It was the Golden State Warriors and your Orlando Magic. In Orlando, the Warriors, they rolled in with the same starting group, which, of course, will have that same starting group for the foreseeable future. Still no John Kuminga for them, and we'll see if that complicates anything. But let's start with the 2 main guys who both, after the game, said they're not sure if they're going to play tomorrow. That's handy, guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that from you guys. Steph dealing with ankle stuff. Jimmy dealing with military commitments, I'm guessing general soreness reporting. They were both great. 34, 3 and 9 with 3 steals for Steph. 33, 7 and 4 with 3 steals for Jim. Elite field goals and weirdly bad free throws for Curry. But, they were good. It was also a really good game from Draymond Green, who's been bad. But 12, 6 and 6 with 2 threes and 2 blocks is actually just perfect Draymond. That's everything you would want. The problem is he's doing that 1 out of 6 games. If you held him for today, you would love it. And if you've got him, you hold to see if he plays tomorrow. But otherwise, I don't know that he has to be considered a must roster. That brings us to Moses Moody, who is starting, and he played 30 minutes. Now, in these last games that we saw him, right, I talked about it and say he hit 7 threes in a quarter, and that was ridiculous. And then he hit 1 3 for the rest of the game. So there's always people who, look, often in good nature, sometimes with malice, and that's okay. But leave comments. And you say, how do you make it a negative that he hit 7 threes in 1 quarter, and then that means that the coaching staff locked him down for the other quarters, and you make it like a negative, you only hit 1? Not really. Like, that's not what I did, but it is who Moses Moody is. If he doesn't go absolutely ballistically red hot, he's not worth it. And just go and have a look at his game log. Like, it's pretty obvious to see that. You'll have the games where he shoots 65% or has 6 steals or something, and the other games are pretty useless. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 33%. Pair of steals is nice, but didn't even hit his free throws. Is he good enough to be considered must roster? I don't think so. Is he totally okay to roster? Yeah, he is. But he's going to be one of those guys that we know, if he is your worst player, the value you get from streaming in that spot is nearly always, under every circumstance, going to be better streaming it. Nearly every time. Unless your worst player is the 90th best player, streaming in your worst guy or streaming out your worst guy gives you better results. And I'm not really sure how Moody, with Podziemski behind him, Kuminga coming back, Melton at some point playing, Willie Dick getting minutes, I don't know how Moody does enough to keep him in this strong spot. I like Moody as a player a lot. I'm not sure he's that good of a fantasy asset. As for Richard, he played 15 minutes in a starting role. So does Steve Kerr's foreseeable future starting lineup mean that Richard stays in that role, or does he move to a different spot? Because we know he's going to do something. And that's where we get to Brandon Podziemski, who played 27 minutes and had 5 points. He shot 29% only here, Podziemski, and I expressed some concern about Podziemski in the preseason because I was like, there's just a lot of guys here. I'm not sure how prioritized he's going to be, and I think he's creeping up a little bit too high. And it's been way worse. I don't really see why you would hold him, to be honest.
Get that garbage out of here!
Streamable, absolutely. And the golden... And when I say things like that, like, I've got to be cautious about what I say. I don't believe that Podziemski needs to be a long-term hold, but an overriding rule on that is very rarely will you drop someone in the middle of the back-to-back. It doesn't make sense to. So you got Podziemski. Is he a droppable player? Yeah. Do you drop him after they play again tomorrow? Or do you drop him before he plays tomorrow? No. Generally, no. Because even if you dropped him for, say, a Kings player or a Blazers player playing the back to... Well, Blazers actually today, but Kings and Sixers, sorry, is Wednesday, Thursday. You're only gaining one game played out of that. So is Podziemski droppable? Yes, absolutely, in my mind. Not for all of you, but in my mind, yes. But don't do it in the middle of a back-to-back. He's just someone where you look at your roster and go, I might want to do something with streaming, or a good option appears on the wire. Do I need to hold on to Brandon? And the answer is probably no. So when I say droppable, that's what I mean. When I jack a guy, that's what I mean. Yeah, cool. Couldn't think of a funny joke there. I'm sure there were plenty of them. Maybe insert your own joke. Choose your own adventure. Let's go to the Magic side of things. They also went with the same starting lineup, and we are getting a lot of minutes for some of these players. Des Bane. 23, 6, and 5 with 5 steals. Now, I don't think Bro had he had 2 steals combined. Exaggeration. Only slightly for the entire season. And he just got a whole stack here. This is what he does. Nobody, and by nobody I mean me, when I said, don't take him early in drafts, it was because I didn't believe that he's a good player. Context is important. It's where do you fit in the whole ecosystem and the structure of the team. And that's what I had my doubts. But Paolo's out, so let's go. Fire up. And we'll see what happens when Paolo returns. I have been incredibly surprised and shocked by Wendell Carter Jr. He is just a must-roster player. 17 and 12, 2 assists, a 3, 71%, 6 of 6 from the line. He has been so mid the last couple of years, who I thought he had tons of potential when he was a young player, and I thought he got really poorly treated over there. But he's been awesome. And look at the minutes. We don't hear any of that Goga's a better player discussion anymore. Jalen Suggs, the best thing I can say about this, well, there's actually a lot of good things. Suggs, he played 32 minutes. He had 13, 5 and 8, 2 steals, and a block. That's obviously great. But he played 32 minutes, coming back off the groin injury. He's going to put up some big numbers. He's a very good player. And Wagner had 18 and 8. But let's talk about two of the guys that have been floating on and off waiver wires. Mr. Black played 33 minutes. 21 points for Anthony Black with four rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. This has happened a few times for Anthony Black this season. He has these scoring games that immediately, the scoring column, you go, ooh, points, that's good. And he shot 62%. But no threes, only 4 rebounds, only 2 assists. He does, for a player who's not a good shooter, he does rely upon outlier shooting performances to get value. So is he usable and streamable? Sure. But I don't really feel super good. And I feel like him and Tristan da Silva are just going to go back and forward in terms of the numbers. Da Silva's first game without Banchero, unbelievably good. The next two, incredibly mid. 15 points, 3 threes, not bad. Not bad at all. It's okay. It's totally reasonable. 4 rebounds, 1 steal, no free throws. It's fine. It's whatever. Over the last 5 games, he's averaged 28 minutes a night, which is about an expectation. And he's not a top 150 player, which adds up for who Da Silva is. So if you added Da Silva with Palo out, totally okay move. But also not someone you just have to cling on to with your life. Going, he's going to deliver. Because he'll deliver something. But again, when we go back to the Moses Moody discussion from earlier, if you just stream that spot through, usually you get more out of it than holding on for 3 Tristan da Silva games. Not a lot else going on with the Magic side of things, so that probably is time for me to end it. Well, not end it. If anyone asks, I definitely am not feeling like that. What I am feeling like is telling you that today's episode is brought to you by Skims. And why would I want to end anything when Skims for men exist? Maybe in the past when I had underwear that would ride up, that would crunch, that would scrunch, that would hold, that would bunch. Do I like my underwear? That pair that's over there. It's Skims men's. And it comes in stretch. It comes in cotton. 3 inches, 5 inches, 7 inches, boxers, briefs. I don't know how you can combine those other terms together. Boxer briefs. No, you can't. There's only 2 words. That's the combinations. They're all there. But they're comfortable. They're stylish. They're seductive. That's not the right word. Seductive. I know words. And Skims knows underwear. So if you've been jealous of women discussing their comfort with their Skims, now is your time, blokes. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. And when you place your order, you select podcast in the post-purchase survey and select our show from the drop-down to let them know that we sent you. Plus, the Skims holiday shop is open. So if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, Skims has you covered. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back and there is no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel with. Well, not with. They are just the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game, with FanDuel, you can jump in and live bet on who's going to score next, on fourth quarter blowouts or comebacks. Individual player props, it's all there. Plus, if you want to, with your live bets, you can combine them all into a same game parlay to increase your payouts, your shot at a bigger payout. It keeps you on your toes. It puts your knowledge to the test. It gives you that sort of, I know what I'm talking about. That feeling, you know that feeling. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. I'll be watching. All right, we're here talking games. We're here talking Tuesday. We're going to get to LeBron's return later on, where we will get a chance to answer that age-old question, does Unc still got it? Let's get into the next game, though, before we do that. It is Boston. It is Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, the Celtics win it 113-99 is your final score. Boston rolled out the same starting lineup that they've been rolling out, and that includes Jordy Walsh. So let's do a quick check-in on Jordan Walsh. And I think he caught the Minot disease. Yeah. Walsh, he played 11 minutes and he had 4 fouls. He had 4 points. He had 1 rebound. He had no assists. He had no steals. He had no blocks. Remember what we said about Walsh. Absolutely anemic usage player who was shooting well above his standards and needs defensive stats to get there. And we should have no confidence in Sneaky Joe Mazzulla, who started Sam Hauser, Hugo Gonzalez, Josh Minot, Chris Boucher in preseason, and now Jordan Walsh at power forward. Do not believe that a couple of solid games from Walsh means he locks in there at all. And again, he will get fluffed in the 9-cat rankings, Jordan Walsh, because I think he's had 0 turnovers. He is not, in my opinion, a 12-team league player. And in points leagues, you're already well aware of that. You know that he's not even sniffing it. Not even getting a whiff of the scent of a 12-teamer for a points league. But for category leagues, you can be convinced. Ooh, steals. Okay. Oh, look at that. He didn't have a turnover. Cool. Not worth it in most cases. Deep league guy only. As for Minot, it's a better game, but I don't care. 19 minutes, 10 and 4 with 3 threes. Shot 75%. I need to see him start and get 25 minutes, and then I'll go, let's take another flyer at it, because it is going to be so much back and forward. I still believe that Minot will start again this season, but I'm not holding and waiting for it. Peyton Pritchard's slump is officially busted. 22, 10 and 5 with 5 threes. That's not true because he can get cold at any point. That is how shooting works. 22, 10 and 5 with 5 threes. Just enjoy what's going on. While Derek White had 15, 5 and 5, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and an outstanding game. It was a weird game in this one because Jaylen Brown didn't really play much in the first half. Anthony Simons played more than him. And then in the second half, it just flipped over. And Brown ended up with just 32 minutes but 29 points. As for Simons, well, he had 11 points. He played 26 minutes, and he's about to cop a giant jack-off.
Get that garbage out of here.
I didn't want to draft him anywhere. I didn't draft him anywhere. And I think he's been a droppable player for me for like 4 weeks in a row, and he's still being rostered. Why? 11, 4 and 5 with 2 threes. He's not the worst line you'll ever see, but any chance of getting a good one at any point? Don't think so. Slammer Sammy Hauser, who'd been sort of relegated to a smaller role, had 8 points with 2 threes and 7 rebounds. He is just part of Sam's Club, the 3-point white guy streamers. That's him. And yeah, not much else. Oh, Nemesh Cater, foul trouble for him. That's why he only played 23 minutes. 6 and 7, but did have the 3 blocks. And Cater does remain a 12-team league must-roster player. We can now travel ourselves over to the Brooklyn side of this game. And they also went with the same starting group. And Michael Ponder Jr., the poop cookie, did it again. 34 minutes, 25 and 6 with 4 threes and 3 steals. If I said to you that Michael Porter Jr. did it again, which direction would your brain go? Spotted in the lobby of a hotel with a OnlyFans star? Spouting racist conspiracy theories on a podcast? Talking about how women's rights have gone too far? Which one of those things would you think he would do? Or do you think he just had a big game? 25, 6 and 2 with 3 steals is huge. He's been ridiculous. Selling high now is tough because you're going to lose out. And you're probably going to lose out for too long. But he's been great. Jaeger Dioman, 4 threes, 57% shooting. Lovely. Unfortunately, he missed all 3 of his 2-pointers. And he's a weird player. 12 points, 4 assists, and 4 threes. If you've got him, just commit through to Thanksgiving. That's another 10 days. And see what happens. Because at the moment, he is wildly inconsistent. And Jordi Fernandez just pulls him off, giggity, at the drop of a hat. 6 minutes into the third quarter, he said, right, get out of here. And he doesn't play enough. It's also why we didn't get excited about Tyrese Martin, who was great last game and then had 8 points in 18 minutes. Because Jordy's just going to move them around. We got 7 assists out of Terrence Mann, so that's great. But bro, yeah, he's so annoying. He's just so frustrating to deal with. While Zaire Williams had his 3 good ones in a row. I do not want to commit to Zaire Williams in a 12-teamer, but if I'm in something deeper, a 175 deep league, yeah, Zaire is putting together something. Also a good game from Dayron Sharp, 16 and 7 with 3 steals. He's a nice stream guy for those deep leagues, but honestly, this team is horrendous, as we're well aware. Also, not a good game from Nick Claxton, who's clearly been very, very good this season. Now let's do the next game. Detroit and Atlanta. And there is, I think, quite a bit to talk about, or at least on the Pistons side, because we did have Cade Cunningham returning. But he didn't move Daniss Jenkins to the bench. It was Ron Holland that went to the bench. Oh, by the way, Ausar Thompson also came back, but he did not start. And I'm going to start with Ausar Thompson here. I am not a conspiracy theory person at all. At all. I'm also not someone that will sit here and pontificate to you about, well, I think maybe he wants it more, or in his head and you're trying to deliberately. I'm never going to do any of those things. Because Big Josh, the big fella, I don't want to put myself in another man's head. I don't want to do it. Because invariably, you're going to be wrong. But you might think this is a conspiracy theory, but I'll tell you what it is. We're talking Ausar Thompson, who came off the bench in this game, in his first game back. Ausar Thompson, he did end up closing the game, and in the end, he had 6 points in under 24 minutes. He had 2 rebounds, he had 1 steal and 3 blocks. He shot 60%, good for him, on 3 of 5 shooting. The defense at the end was unbelievably good. And I know what you're going to say. Josh, he's on a minutes restriction. He's just working his way back from injury. Okay, fine. All right. I am not accepting that. And I don't care that JB Bickerstaff said it. I don't care. And I'm going to detail why for those of you who are new listeners here. For a start, he got injured 1 day before Cade Cunningham. 1 day before Cade Cunningham. 1 day before Jalen Duren. He's been out 7 days. 7 days. And we have to do a ramp up for a sprained ankle. Sure, okay, whatever. If that's the thing, is it? Whatever. Cade starts immediately. Duren starts immediately. No problem, right? He was out for a week. The reason why I don't care that JB said that, and maybe, again, it's not that I believe the opposite. It's that I don't believe what he is saying until I see it. Because last season, when we had Ausar dealing with the blood clot problems, slow start to the season, really limited production, is that JB would come out and tell us when Ausar would play 25 minutes and get benched and pulled out of games, go, yeah, we want him out there, but, minutes restriction. Except he was lying. This is not a conspiracy theory. He was lying. And you want to know how I know that he was lying? Because in any game that Tobias Harris got hurt, Ausar Thompson would play 32 minutes. And then when Tobias Harris would get healthy, sorry, we can't play him anymore. It's just a minutes restriction, you can only play 24, but Toby's out, 31 minutes. So, again, am I a little annoyed by that? Yeah. And does this tie into some of my preseason thoughts of I'm a little worried that JB is going to be a little quick on the trigger with Ausar because we saw what unlocked Cade last season that was having shooting around him. And Ausar is not that. So, if Ausar starts in the next game and plays 30 minutes, good, fine, all good. But when you've said the thing, lied about it continually, and then say it again, I'm not actually going to believe it until I see it happen. Now, what does that mean for you in fantasy? Nothing. It means don't drop Ausar Thompson. Don't panic. But I'm not ready to just say, don't worry, it's just a ramp-up thing because of this very specific circumstance that we got lied to about last season. Very specifically. What they did was keep somebody who can shoot. Oh, what a shock that is. In the starting lineup. And that was Daniss Jenkins. Now that is very interesting. 30 minutes for Jenkins. 14, 3 and 7 with 3 steals. And he shot 60%. Only 25 from 3. And he hasn't been shooting that well from 3, but he's getting them off. I don't know what happens about when Jaden Ivey returns. And now the big conundrum is they don't play for 3 days. Jenkins has been ridiculously good. Now he's on a 2-way contract, so they've got to cut someone. And they can cut like Isaac Jones at any point to convert him, and they should. He is a legitimate NBA rotation player, maybe even a starter, not sure, but maybe even a full-time starter, maybe. But Ivey is going to come back. And if we believe that Ausar Thompson is going to see his minutes rise up, then Jenkins is going to come to the bench. But I don't know that that'll happen. And I'm not convinced. And the fact that Cade came back and Jenkins still started is really? Incredibly interesting scenario. So the 3 days off, normally I just would have said drop. Done. Thank you. It was a great time. And that's how my thought process was. But the events of today make me go, I'm not sure about this. I'm just not sure. I'm just got my murder board up on the wall, just pinpointing things and saying, well, you said that, but that was wrong. And now this happened. But you know what you also could have done, JB? You could move Isaiah Stewart to the bench and put Ausar into that spot, but you didn't, did you? So I'm just, this is to me my cuckoo moment. So just bear with me. As for Isaiah, he had 13 and 9, in 26 minutes. Alf Stewart did. Big game from him. And Duren had 24 and 8. And Cade had 25, 6 and 10 and 2 steals. Good games all around there. Obviously, you're Jack and Paul Reed. He had 4 points in 9 minutes. And Javonte Green still played 29, which is a lot. While Ron Holland played 19. You're dropping Ron and you're dropping Javonte. As for Duncan Robinson, 14 points and 4 threes. Very good. Drop. Don't hold him for the 3 days. Hold Ausar, hold Stewart, hold Daniss, Duren, Cade, obviously, in those 12-team formats. Now, that was a long, long rant. I'm going to come back, because I've got to tell you about something first, and then I'll talk about the Hawks side of this game in a sec. Today's episode, though, is brought to you the company that was named after the state of my abs, and that's Rippling. If you're a business owner, here is the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier. But now, the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. And that's not SaaS. That's sad. Software as a disservice, and that's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access, it runs automatically and perfectly in sync with Rippling. It's simple to use. It gives you one source of truth for your people, your data, and everything that they touch. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. Learn more at RIPPLING. I'll spell that again because I stumbled. RIPPLING.com/LockedOnNBA. That is rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Now we can come back in and look at the Atlanta Hawks side of the Pistons-Hawks game. And the Hawks were without, once again, Kristaps Porzingis and also Zachary Reshape, who suffered that pretty rough fall the other day. And it was Vit Krejci who started. And Vit Krejci had been shooting the absolute lights out. And one of the things we said was he will not do this. And when he does not do this, he will not be worth it. 9 points on 33% with 3 threes in 36 minutes, with very much nothing else. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. Now, I don't mind. If you want to hold on to him while Reshape is out, that's okay. Go for it. But long term, I don't see it. He is not a must-roster player at all. Nickeil Alexander-Walker remains a must-roster player despite shooting 11% from 3. He had 24 3-and-3 on 45% on an 83 from the line. He has some struggles in certain spots for sure, but should be rostered. Dyson Daniels had 3 steals in the first, 5 minutes of the game? None for the rest of the game. He ended up with 12, 9, and 6. And that guy's probably going to tell me, no, he didn't have any more steals because they decided not to have the ball near Dyson ever again, and that's why he didn't get any more steals. Good coaching. Don't use it as a negative. Onyeka Okongwu, 21 points, 4 threes, 3 blocks. He just continues to absolutely cook. You can't sell high. I wouldn't want to either. Honestly, I just wouldn't want to. Because who's trusting Kristaps Porzingis? I'm not. And Jalen Johnson's just like, as the cool people would say, I think he might be him. What is this? 25, 8, and 9, 3 steals, a block, and 3 threes. I thought I was being aggressive with him like at 15 or 16. I was too soft on him. This is an all-star. This is an unbelievable play. What is going on here? And yeah, Trey coming back will have an impact, but this is also one of those things that I love to see. Is that we can postulate things all the time. Trey, but not being there will make it harder. No one to set him up. His efficiency will drop, all that sort of stuff. The fact that he said, all right, Trey, see you later. I'm elevating. That means you are a true star. I did the work on this in the preseason. Is it exhaustive? Is it perfect? No. But I think it was good enough. That showed the players who improve or keep their efficiency the same when usage goes up are your actual superstars. The guys, Derek White, who suffered drops when usage go up are the good players, but they're not the stars. The ones who do it are superstars. Jalen Johnson. He's ridiculously good. And I wouldn't sell high. I just wouldn't. I think you might get a first round guy here. We had some gay action. Muhammad, why are you gay? Had a double-double. And when Porzingis is not there, gay is able to he's able to get it done. He's able to get it done. We've seen him like he's active. He's bobbing up and down, grabbing these boards. He scores okay. He's a solid, deeper league guy with some stream ability that if 2 guys are out in the front court, he's going to absolutely cook. That's what he does. He's a good player. Now we go on to the game that has stars out with calf injuries. The Memphis Grizzlies, the San Antonio Spurs. No Ja Morant, so it was Vince Williams who started. And Vince Williams to me was the pickup, and Vince Williams showed why he was the pickup. 14, 8, and 9. No defensive stats, 39%. Now, for those of you who are savvy, who have a good memory, who are fantasy basketball veterans and legends, yeah, I know it's you, I know it's you, mate. You remember a couple of years ago when Jaren was hurt, Bane was hurt, Morant was hurt, Williams came in, started games, off a two-way contract, and was great. Then he got hurt. And people go, oh, he was great that 2 years ago. And then he really struggled last season. I don't think he gets back to that, but he's got an ability here to put up some numbers while Morant is out. Now, Morant is out, Jerome is out, Pippen is out. They're 3-point guards. I don't think any of them are coming back all that soon, to be honest. In fact, Morant might be the first one back. So just roll with Williams for now. I've also had multiple questions, weirdly enough, about whether you drop Ja Morant. I wouldn't. If I'm in an 8-team, 100-player deep league, I still probably wouldn't, but I'm getting the questions. Cedric Coward, the chicken. Cuckoo-ca-cha! Cuckoo-ca-cha! Just a weird season. Just a weird season. He started out by shooting 70% from three. Big defensive numbers. You're all right. Cool. Don't think this is going to hold. And now he just doesn't get any defensive stats at all. Nothing. Over the last 15 games, he's at 0.8 steals and 0.4 blocks. That's Anthony Simons' music. He just doesn't get anything. His shooting has declined as well. He's down to 48% from the field. He's at 41 from three still, which is good, but it's not 60. And yet still, he's doing enough. And that's a good sign. I don't know whether the defensive stats come back. I know the shooting will never come back like that. But he had 19-11 with 5 threes, played 26 minutes. Now, he is on a minutes limit, according to Thomas Islo, because he hurt his foot and never missed a single game, so I don't really know what's going on there. But he's starting, and he's doing enough. But it's still, I still think there can be more here. I've also had people complaining. Well, I don't know if it's a complaint, but maybe voicing some frustrations. Zach Edey, really? Yeah, Zach Edey, really. Second game back after ankle surgery. He had 8 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks. He didn't shoot well, 40%. That's okay. I don't care. He is a stone cold lock must roster player. Don't overthink it. Don't do something dumb. Don't. Absolute must roster player. No question about it. Don't let these 2 games make you go, oh, I don't know. I don't think he's a very good player, real life. I don't think he's going to be a stalwart, long-term, high-level center. And when I say not very good, it doesn't mean bad. It just means not good. It means average to above average. Solid enough, but you're always looking to upgrade. That's how I view him. But context and opportunity always is important when we're talking redraft fantasy, and that's where we're at with Edey. In deeper leagues, Cam Spencer was very good. Well, he was good in all leagues, but he's the guy to focus on in deep leagues. 15 points for him in 24 minutes. Well, Jalen Wells I don't know, man, bro just can't do anything. He had 9 points in 27 minutes. And speaking of can't do anything, Jaren Jackson. Now, I will give Jaren a little bit of grace. Unlike the Jalen Johnson step up, Jaren is being tasked as a number 1 offensive option, and he can't do it. He can't do it. 40% shooting. No defensive stats. He had 18, 6, and 3 with 2 threes. Which, those counting stats are okay. They're not great, they're okay. But he also hurt his ankle/leg really early in this game. It looked bloody bad. And you go, Jesus, oh no. But he came back. I would be a little worried that he doesn't play in the next one, and then they're in real strife. But, again, I've had questions. Do I drop Jaren Jackson? No. No, you don't. No, just no, don't do it. I don't. No, you absolutely do not. It has not been a good start for him at all. At all. But you do not drop him. You don't. You drop KCP, obviously, 4 points in 19 minutes, and you drop the big fella, Jacques Landale, who had 4 points in 18 minutes, and if Edey was to miss time, you could stream Jock in as a back-end guy.
Get that garbage out of here!
Aldama was like, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, he's fine. Whatever. 10 and 6. He's a 14-team, great option. What a legend. But in 12s, he's just like in and out, and he's just too unpredictable, too inconsistent to feel good about. Should we feel good about anything for the San Antonio Spurs? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to feel good about for the San Antonio Spurs. The fact that I get to do this. Because the pencil, Harrison Barnes, Barnesy, did it again. 23 points, 4 threes, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Now, I talked about him on the Sell High show today, and I told you, I go, this guy's hitting like 55% of his threes. Yeah, that's insane, and it's not going to hold. We might look at him as a 42% guy, but it's not going to hold. And he came out today and said, all right, Josh, I know you hate me. Let's see what happens. He hit 50% today, which ironically is a downtick in his shooting percentages. Barnes is unbelievably good at the moment, with a field goal percentage of 62 and hitting 54% of his threes across his last 8 games. It's just not going to hold. And you might say, well, Josh Wemby's out. That's true. Steph Castle's out for 2 weeks. Also, literally 100% true. Those two things happening does not make Barnes a 55% three-point shooter. It might get him a couple of extra shots. It might get him a couple of extra minutes, but you'll notice that without Castle, you're not getting big assists from Barnes. You notice without Wemby, you're not pulling down double-digit rebounds. He just doesn't miss. At the moment, he does not miss. And that's a credit to him, but it just isn't going to stick. And he's going to be ranked, I bet if you go look on Yahoo last 2 weeks, he's going to be ranked like 40th or something. No. Stream, absolutely go for it, no problem. But Harrison Barnes does this once or twice a season, where he goes on like a 6-game run of insane shooting, and he'll go back and have 11 points with 1 3 and 4 rebounds for the next 2 months. So it's great. I love playing the sound, but I'm not suckered into buying it as a long-term thing. Foxy had 26 points, but like the 3 assists, 1 rebound. He did have 2 steals and a block, so that's good. But a little bit frustrating otherwise. Let's talk about one of the big frustrations, because Luke Cornett was terrible. The big fella, literally the big fella, took 1 shot. He was scoreless. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Right? Undeniably dreadful. If you added him because Victor Wembanyama was out, you'd be going, why did I do that? I'm dropping him. And I'd say don't. I mean, do whatever you want. It's your life. I don't actually care that much. It's your own decision. Don't. It's 1 game. His last game was okay. It was pretty good. And I actually think that majority of the games will be pretty good. They'll be good enough to have him as a 12-team guy. Now, if he goes out and just stinks every game, then we'll say, okay, that was the wrong call. But I'm not making a call after a game today against Zach Edey. I'm not doing it. I believe he should be rostered. And if he's dropped, I would add him. With Castle out, we got Julian Champagny back in, 9 points. Nothing to worry about. But the guy who did step up in this one was the horse, Keldon Johnson. Slug had 18 and 7 with 2 steals. He shot 53%. Notable. What is important also is he got his usage up to 27. Now, he can maintain a big usage. Can he maintain good efficiency? Usually not. He's an interesting points streamer for 150 deep leagues. Maybe. I wouldn't rush in category leagues, but obviously 18, 7, 2 steals, he's very clearly a good line. I'm just not having faith that Johnson's going to do that. He attempted 1 free throw. He had no defensive stats. No blocks. He had 1 assist. If the shots don't go in like that, it's not really that much. So, it's fine. I liked that the minutes push up. That's the intriguing part. And if you wanted to grab him, that's okay. But I think he's going to sort of hover in the Tristan da Silva zone. Or someone who's like, all right, that's fine. But the fact that I can just name 7 guys, and I named 2, but there's probably others that I can name in that zone, means that those guys can be manipulated in and out to take advantage and turn that roster spot into 6 games of Tristan da Silva clones, which includes maybe Barnes, maybe Johnson, maybe da Silva. Who else is in that area? You know what? DeAndre Hunter's been that guy in the past as well. So they are interesting little developments. Vassell shot horribly, but he did have a Richie Beno with 2 threes, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and he was the guy that stepped up with the assists, 5 assists with Castle out. The question about what you do with Castle is you hold him. I still don't have any idea how the Fox and Castle and then later on Harper triumvirate works in terms of lead ball handling and usage, because we've seen both sides of it and I just don't know. But you hold Castle until we figure that stuff out later on. So now we can talk about it. It's LeBron's first game against the Utah Jazz, and the Lakers win it easy. 140-125 is your final score here. The Jazz rolled in with the same starting group. That means Ace Bailey in the starting lineup. And we feel pretty confident that Ace wasn't going to foul out in 10 minutes. So we're expecting a bit of a different outcome. Unfortunately, we didn't really get that much of a different outcome. Like, Bailey played 23 minutes. He did have 13 points, which a lot was accumulated towards the end of the game. But 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 3, but only 23 minutes. Again, if you added him, give it till Thanksgiving. But there is a problem with him. He is a bad category league fantasy skill set framework player. And if everything isn't clicking, 30 plus minutes, 20 plus usage, 46% shooting, he's useless. He's not going to rebound or assist or steal or block or even get to the line with huge volume. So you need the shooting and scoring to be there. And this does not cut it at all. It also doesn't cut it that Isaiah Collier played just 21 minutes. I will maintain that my take on him, until it changes, is that he's an assists-only streamer. He had 6 of them. That's okay. But that doesn't mean that much when nothing else is really all that good. 50% from the field is good, no doubt. 6 attempts, pretty low. Keyonte George, though, look, it screams absolute sell high because it's Keyonte George. He had 33, 4, and 7 with 2 steals and 5 threes. He shot 55%. And you go, okay, well, so what happened? Did he shoot his 2s? Well, yeah, which he normally doesn't do, but 39 on 3s is reasonable. The problem is, with how good this bloke actually is this season, no one's giving him anything equivalent to that in a sell high, and I'm not actually sure how much he drops off. This just might be one of those, wow, like absolutely out of nowhere, everything figured out sort of scenarios. We talk about most improved players. Jalen Duren, right there. Jalen Johnson going from fringe all-star to like all-NBA maybe. And then this bloke. Like, unbelievable stuff. Markin was also good. Again, 31 and 5 with 3 threes and 2 steals, much like with Michael Porter Jr. Finding the right time to sell high on him will be key. And then Jusuf Nurkic. Now, it's easy to ridicule Jusuf Nurkic. It's easy to ridicule me about my love for Jusuf Nurkic in the past and why he wasn't a must-roster player now. I'm pretty sure you won't argue with it at the moment. He just has to be rostered. Yeah, something might change later on. That's okay. He's a must-roster player now. You don't need to, I don't think, hold Kyle Filipowski, who didn't even play in this game. You don't have to worry about Taylor Hendricks, who was available and got 0 minutes. It's Nurkic. For whatever reason, it's Nurkic. Not much else going on. Cody Williams might be the worst player in the NBA. He's actually terrible. I hope that he's able to get into something good at some point, but at this point, he is just horrid. Just so bad. And I feel sorry for the kid, but he just has got no idea at this point. On the Lakers, we know that LeBron is back. So LeBron started, and that meant that Jake LaRavia, who started the last game, moved to the bench. Let's just start with LeBron. He only played 30 minutes. He only had 11 points. He only took 7 shots, but he had 12 assists. He had a steal. He had 2 threes. I don't think it's going to be LeBron of the past. I don't think it's going to be LeBron of last year. I think he's going to take games off this season. But he's back. It was obviously insane when he was going at the turn of round 1 and round 2. It was insane to me he was going in round 2. To me, he was a round 4, round 5 sort of a player. We'll see how long he can stay healthy. Hopefully it's a long time. But it's just good that he's back. What we saw is Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic maintained value, or at least some of it. Luka had 37, 5, and 10 with 4 steals. He's unbelievable. Reeves only had 1 assist. That's something to monitor. But he had 26 and 5 with a 3, and he's just really good. And Reeves attempted 12 free throws. And the other thing that was a worry about, like, what happens when LeBron is back to Deandre Ayton. Now, I heard arguments on both sides. LeBron will make it easy for him. LeBron will take all his rebounds and he'll get no shot attempts. Well, so far, 1 game in, 20 and 14, steal, block, 77%. I'm not here to tell you Deandre Ayton's a good player. Never going to tell you that. But he's very clearly a must-roster player. Very clearly has been a must-roster player. And I think is just going to remain a must-roster player. The guys you drop, obviously, Marcus Smart, 17 minutes, 5 points. Easy. Jake LaRavia, came good at the end of this game, but 16, 4, and 2, don't care. Don't need to hold him, especially with the way their schedule looks. And of course, the Mpitsu. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for Rui Hachimura to be rostered. None. No reason. None. 6 points, 26 minutes, 38% shooting, no threes, no steals, no blocks. One of the most comically over-rostered players in fantasy every single season. He needs 2 starters to be out. He needs 60% shooting almost on 24 usage to even sniff value. And every year, I look at the number and go, what? Did a certain cohort of the population just all suffer simultaneous brain damage? What are we doing? I'm going to jack his pencil so far off.
Get that garbage out of here!
Yeah. Get out of here, Rui. Feel sorry for the kid. I like him. Good kid. Not that good at basketball. In comparison to the position that he is put in. Just to be clear, he would roast me 1,000,000-0 if we played. But in the context of where we're at, not that good. Not that good. Now we could do the final game of the night. The Phoenix Suns. The good Phoenix Suns. Just keep on going. 127-110 against an admittedly undermanned Portland Trailblazers team. The same starting lineup for Phoenix. They still had no Grayson Allen, who remains out, which gives opportunities for other players. And we saw that today. Ryan Dunn was in the starting lineup. We'll talk about what Dunny was able to get done in that. Well, didn't mean that, but like in that position. And this was one of the best games that Dunn's had. Career high 5 steals. He had 9 points in 27 minutes with 4 assists. It's not bad. He's not much more than just a short-term stream guy, though. And the same goes, I think, for Colin Gillespie, who was awesome. And Gillespie is a good player. 19, 3 and 6, 4 threes and a steal. But like I've said many times here, we've got ample evidence to suggest that 2 guys need to be out for Gillespie to have enough value. When one of them is back, Allen or Jalen Green, he just won't do enough. This was very good, though. Disappointing from Royce O'Neal for 2 games in a row. I don't mind the hold on O'Neal, but also if you wanted to move on to maximize games and he's your worst player, you won't regret it in a huge way. And we featured Dylan Brooks on the Sal High show today, saying that there was a lot of the stuff that he was doing that just didn't think that it was going to hold. Now, he validated me pretty well here with 12 points in 26 minutes. He had 4 assists and 3 steals, and I will still hold him, but we expected some sort of a downturn. And Mark Williams, 15 and 6, 2 steals and a block. Great. I love to see it. Booker had 19-6. He had 5 assists and 3 steals. He's been, I guess, a little bit underwhelming this season. It's not been bad by any stretch, but just maybe not quite where you wanted it. But honestly, he's been there. He's playing. The numbers are fine. I don't think it's a huge room for or a huge area of complaint. The Blazers had no Drew Holiday, and they had no Jeremy Grant. So that means that the rotation's all sort of over the place. Shaedon Sharpe is going to do a million things at the moment. Now, he is still incredibly empty. 29 points is great. 0 threes, 2 rebounds, 3 assists is bad. 1 steal is fine. 71 from the line is not good. He missed all 6 of his 3-point attempts. He is hurting a lot with his percentages. He is an empty player, though. And it's great in scenarios like this where Holiday's out, Grant's out, Scoot's out. Scoot looks like he's 3 weeks away still at least, to be honest. But Sharpe is quite one-dimensional. Sidi Sissoko, with all these guys out, had to step up. 28 minutes for Sidi. He had 8, 3 and 5 with 2 steals. They need someone who can sort of handle the ball and pass, and that's him. There's nothing long-term there. I guess the question you're going to want to ask is, what do you do with Tamani Kamara? He was not good again. In a points league, Tamani Kamara has no value compared to what he has in category leagues. He's not worth any 10-team spot, 130 players, or 150-player 12-man league. He's not worth it in a points league. In a category league, not sugarcoating, he has also been bad. There are 2 very clear reasons for this. The number one reason is he just can't hit threes. He's like 6 percentage points lower. He's at like 30% from 3. He was at 20% shooting overall in this game for 6, 2, and 3. It's really bad. And his steal numbers are down too. He had 6 points. It's bad. It's bad. His minutes are up this season. His usage is up this season. What is down? His 3-point shooting and his steal rate. I had to look into this because there were people talking about it on Basketball Monster saying he would love some more defensive stats. And okay, that's fine. He is down. But this is the thing that happens with these low volume stats. And we talk about reliance on year-to-year steals and week-to-week steals and game-to-game steals and how it's all over the shop. Prior to today, well, even including today, right? Let's say what it is. If he's played 14 games. In order to be at the same steal rate as last season, he would need to have 5 steals more in 14 games. That's it. To have the same block rate as last season, he would need 2 blocks in 14 games. That's it. So we look at his steals, we look at his blocks and go, yeah, I was hoping for more. But just to be the same as last season, across 4 weeks of NBA action, he needs 5 steals and 2 blocks. And I know this has happened. This has happened multiple times this season where a player has got 5 steals and 2 blocks in one game. I'm not saying that Tamani Kamara is going to get 5 steals and 2 blocks in one game. But he could get 5 steals in the next game. And then we'd be, okay, it's back to normal. That is what happens with the volume and variance stats. It's part of why I created the Durant head-to-head formula, because the way that rankings are used, we look at them over the course of an entire season, which reflects a rotisserie league, which isn't what 95% of people play. And that variance and game-to-game nature of it and year-to-year variance in steals makes players look way worse or better than they actually are, I think. Kamara he needs to shoot. A simple thing. He just needs to shoot better. Simple as that. Hit 36% from 3 and you won't have any complaining. Get a couple of extra steals. Honestly, like 5 steals in 4 weeks. It's 1 steal a week. Give me 1 steal more a week and we're okay. So yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, it's annoying. I think some of you may have had too high hopes on him. I think I had him around 90 or something like that, which is too high, clearly, from what he's doing at the moment. It's not going to take a huge amount to turn it around, though. Just hit some shots, hit some threes at not even a good level, just an average level, and get 1 more steal a week, and we're okay. That's how I view him. Don Clingan. It's an interesting game, right? 9 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks. You love 12 rebounds. You love 5 blocks. But is there a big man in the NBA that is more annoying with his bad field goal percentage? Jusuf Nurkic division not included. Even Nurkic is better at field goal percentage than Clingan. He's a horrible offensive player, I think, and a really bad finisher. And even though he had 12 rebounds and 5 blocks, I don't think he played well. He only played 23 minutes because he, again at this point, in his career, is not a good NBA starting center. I'm not sure he ever becomes that. He is a hold because those blocks and rebounds are really strong. But he was a minus 15 in this game. And he just struggled, I thought, a lot. He's too slow. I don't like what he does on offense. But he sort of did what you wanted, 12 rebounds and 5 blocks. Not much else to talk about here. Young Hun Sen played a little bit, but there's a lot of guys out here. Oh yeah, Caleb Love. Let's talk about him because they play tomorrow. 32 minutes for Love, 17, 7, and 3. Now, is this another Daniss Jenkins brewing? I don't know about that. But on a team with no Drew, no Jeremy Grant, no Scoot Henderson, with only Shaden Sharp, realistically, and Denny Abdia as ball handlers or scorers, then maybe you could stream Love in tomorrow. I don't think I'd prioritize it. But if we're in the same spot where Holiday Grant, Scoot's going to be out, but if Holiday and Grant are out again tomorrow, you could probably do worse. But it's literally just the definition of a one-day type scenario. Grant is an illness. I don't think that we're seeing him out for weeks on end here. So, yeah. Good game. Good game from Love, but don't think it's going to mean much as we move forward. Shall we do the monstrous line of the night? Probably. I don't know why I look so bright. I think there's just a lot of sun coming in on me here at the moment. It looks crazy. I might have to change that. Let's redo that. All right, let's go back in now that I just had to turn one of the lights off in the studio because for some reason it's just super bright. The monstrous line of the night. Jalen Johnson, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. He's been ridiculously good. Your waiver wire line of the night. Player that's just under-rostered. It's Day'Ron Sharpe. 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals. He doesn't do this all the time. He's an interesting stream guy at times. Your young gun of the night, the best first or second year player and their production today. We are going to Donovan Clingan. Now, it does say 6 blocks on the screen. It originally said 6 blocks and the box score did correct down to 5 blocks. So 5 blocks is the correct number. But when I created that, it said 6. And the dud of the night, the worst performance goes to Brandon Pajemski, who had 5 points and 6 rebounds. And I find it very hard at the moment to consider Pajemski a guy that is a must-roster player. And that, guys, is the end of a recap show for Tuesday. In the NBA, where there are 6 games on, the return of LeBron and ascension performance from Jalen Johnson and Keyonte George continues to make us into believers. Subscribe to the video, thumb it up, double bang, leave the comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Oh yeah, by the way, Sleeper app sucks. See ya.